Okay. I believe that solved it, but this is fairly new technology for me. I don't know about the rest of you. I started off the virtual meetings back in 2020, as most of us did on Zoom. But I was always an attendee, not a panelist. So, and then I jumped to Teams when I joined the city of Somerville. And so now I'm jumping back to Zoom. So hopefully this will go smoothly.
Okay, I noticed that it's recording, so have we started? Because I think we're missing two board members. Am I correct?
I would say we should start recording because it's 6 at the start. That's the official start of the meeting, right?
Um,
That was my understanding.
sure.
Oh,
I can offer a thought on that. I think typically we start recording right as we're getting ready to begin. That's okay. I think I see. I think I'm just noticing that both I and Kate are also Cecilia Kelly. I'm gonna see if I can change my I mean, I think I know who I am, but for other people's sake, I think I'm gonna try to change
you know what? I
that.
can rename you. How's that?
I'm sorry,
I can rename you, Mike. So I'll
if you want to do
there
that
you
for Kate and I, that would
Thank
be
you.
great.
Yeah.
And do we know who Condo Board, who is apparently trying to connect it? Oh, I think I'm guessing.
So I know it could either be Elizabeth or board member Simeon
Right,
or our newest board member. Is it Champion, last name Champion or Champon? I
yes,
just want to
yeah.
Champion. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so normally we start to record once we've kind of all gathered ourselves. Normally that's when we start the recording,
Thanks.
but I'm fine to record this part of it too.
I will note that in September.
And then also we just want to make sure that we have quorum also. So I hope this is board member Simeon and or board member Champion. Yes, exactly, Mike, right?
And while we're waiting for other folks, first I just say, Patricia, I was excited for you to hear you're moving to New York, and I hope it's for all good reasons. Personally, I'm very sorry. and thank you for your service. It's been a pleasure to a chance to work a bit with you. So thank you.
Thank you. I am gonna miss everyone. And
And
sorry, I'm battling a little sinus thing here, so I'll be in and off mute. Okay, great. So we have board member Champion. Hello, Elizabeth, welcome. We're just kind of gathering ourselves. We're all new to Zoom before we start. And we're also trying to see the other board member. It must be board member Simeon that's trying to connect. But I say since we have board member Champion with us, I think we can start to we can get started. So I know we've already started recording, but I will start recording for the record. Okay, welcome everyone. We call this meeting tonight of the City of Somerville Condominium Review Board, Monday, August 28th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Precedent to Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Condo Review Board will be conducted via remote participation. We will post an audio recording, an audio video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of these proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting on the City of Somerville's website and local cable government channels. All right, so before we move to our roll call, we just want to make aware that we have a new board member tonight. So we want to welcome our newest board member, Elizabeth Champion. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hey there, thank you.
Yes, if you want to say a few words, thank you so much. We're glad to have you.
No, yeah, sorry I was late. I was trying to figure out the Zoom link. No, I'm super excited to be here, and I can't wait to hear right, this is my first meeting, so I'm very excited. Yeah, thank you.
Great, we are excited to have you. All right, now I'll refer to city staff for our roll call attendance for this evening.
Roll call attendance. Chair Paul,
Present.
Vice Chair Zaslow,
Present.
Board Member Kate Byrne,
Present.
Board Member Alex Simeon,
Present.
and Board Member Elizabeth Chambers.
Present.
All present, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you all for that. All right, okay, so now we will move on to our agenda for this evening. We have some administrative items to go over. We do have some staff announcements. Do we technically, Cecilia? I will refer to you on this one for the staff announcements.
I would say that staff announcement would just be me staffing tonight's meeting and staffing the meetings going forward until Morena's return. I just ask for your patience.
Yes, for the record, Cecilia was supposed to be shadowing tonight and is now running the meeting for us. And I do see Mr. Filoni has his hand up. So Mr. Filoni.
Thank you, Chairperson Paul. For the record, I'm Mike Filoni, Director of the Housing Division of the Mayor's Office of Strategic Planning and Community Development. I thought it might be worth mentioning, well, first, I wanted to introduce myself particularly to Elizabeth, and I'm not sure that Alex, we've had a chance to have full video, so it's great to see everyone. And I did just want to note that since Cecilia is actually helping facilitate this evening's meeting rather than shattering it, as was the original intent, Lisa Davidson, who is serving as acting assistant director of housing, along with the position that she's been in for about 4.5 years, is here as well. Lisa has attended the same session that other board members and Cecilia did to familiarize themselves with some recent changes. I'm going to be going off camera, but just in case, we'll continue to be on the meeting, just in case I might be able to help clarify something as it may come up. Thanks again.
Great, thank you. All right, so now we will move to our next item on the agenda, and that is the Condominium Review Board rule updates. I will also refer to city staff and possibly Lisa for this one. So I will pass the floor to either one.
Chair Paul, do you need me to share my screen with those rules?
Please, thank you.
Forgive me. Here, I'm going to ask for patience.
You're fine. Oh, Lisa.
Yeah,
did
I'm
you have
sorry.
something while we were waiting?
Yes, while Cecilia is trying to share her screen, can you repeat what you were asking? Were you asking for city staff or myself to go through the condo review rules? Is that what I I heard some of it, but
Yes, since things are kind of switched up tonight, I think if this had been the normal meeting, Marina was going to be the one to kind of go through those rules tonight. But I wasn't sure how versed Cecilia would be. So yes, if you could be available to also go through the rules with Cecilia would be great. Thank you.
perfect. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes. We're all maneuvering tonight, and we definitely have to say congratulations to Marina too.
Okay, almost there.
No worries.
Okay, here it comes. And let's see if I can do this. Share my screen. Can everyone see this? It's Marina's latest revisions to the Somerville Condominium Review Board rules. You can see it. Okay, good.
Yes.
Your patience.
And Cecilia, are you comfortable with taking the lead on explaining these at the moment? And I can jump in and offer some assistance?
You're welcome to jump in and offer some assistance. I do recall seeing a very recent email from Marina to Nick with regards, this is Nick Antanavaka in ISD, City of Somerville, on the condo, hold on for one moment. Condo Review Board Acknowledgement Form, which is one part of the rules. And she mentioned that the city council approved a change in the condo ordinance that once again makes demolition of housing accommodations in order to build condominiums subject to the condo conversion ordinance, which I guess appeared in the original, was a provision that appeared in the original condo ordinance, and they're trying to add it back in. So Lisa, if you have anything else to share, please chime in.
No, you're doing good so far.
Yeah, I think that's about the extent of my knowledge. And you'll have to excuse me, I think we were all very optimistic in thinking that Marina was going to shepherd us through this, so.
So why don't we do this, Cecilia, since this is here and we can see the screen, we can go by the one by one and just kind of talk over the notes that Marina has. And my apologies to the board for not being like right on top of it, ready to go for you guys, but we're gonna do the best that we can for you. So when applying for the conversion permit, vacant units and owner occupied units, there's a 12-month waiting period from the date of the prelim permit is granted before the final conversion permit can be done. That looks like that is something new. I'm gonna pause because I already see a hand. Kate?
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure that we need to go through it sentence by sentence, because I feel like it's really the major piece was having to take out the city being able to purchase units. I feel like other than that, it's mostly just moving things around a little bit and a bit of language and grammar, and I don't feel like it's much changed at all. So I'm wondering if there's a way we could do it that would be a little quicker, because I didn't find it to be overwhelmingly changed. So
Yeah, if I might add, I think we're doing this mostly for the record and also for folks attending that haven't had a chance in the public to know that the ordinance has changed. So tonight, talking with Marina, the goal was going to be to highlight the pieces, the major pieces that were affecting applications, which is to your point, yes, to your point, board member Brian, that piece. But I think there were some other smaller pieces that we did want to make the public just aware of. So I do agree. We don't have to go line by line, but I don't know, Lisa, is there anything else that we could just like point out to the public, namely pieces that we can talk to that would actually affect anyone either in tonight's meeting or in an upcoming meeting that someone didn't have the chance to know that our ordinance was changing?
So I'm not 100% sure that I can do like a quick little thing tonight. Is it something that we can maybe put on the agenda for next month's meeting, and that way we can do it not so point by point, and I could do Cecilia and I can do a nice little review and have it prepared. My apologies for not being 100%.
That sounds great, and I don't have anything wrong with that. I don't know if there's any other board members that object to that. So we can definitely look to table the condo review board rules update to the next meeting. This is also a public document for those that are in attendance tonight. So this is a public document that can be viewed outside of this meeting for the updates. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's any immediate applications tonight that will be affected by any of, there may be some with the, actually, I don't think there might be, I don't want to speak too soon to say there's no applications that may be affected, but there might be with the vacant units and the owner conversion units. But if we need to come back and refer to any of the applications where anyone wasn't aware, we can do that at the time when your application is called. Okay, so with that, sorry, Cecilia.
All right, Chair Paul, should I stop sharing this document?
Yes, thank you. Great. Thank you. So we are going to look to table the condo review board rule updates to the next meeting when city staff has a better chance to prepare for the updates. And we thank them for all they're due for everyone's everyone's help tonight as we're all kind of maneuvering this. Okay, so with that said, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. And that is new business for tonight, which is our applications for final conversion and courtesy permits. So the first one up tonight is the application of 33 Porter Street LLC. They are seeking a final conversion permits for units 1 and unit 2. If there's a representative that's here that wants to speak on this application, you now have the floor to do so. Is there a representative, Kessia Quad normally? Yes, you're on mute, Mr. Quad. If you want to unmute yourself, or to say, can we unmute?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So, yeah, my name is Kwesi Akwa, and I represent 33 Porter Street LLC. I'm here seeking the final conversion permit for 33 Porter Street, Units 1 and Unit 2. We've submitted all the documentation, including the condominium master deed and the architect's report.
Great, thank you for that. Okay, so we will now look to open up the board commenting period. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments on the applications of 33 Porter Street, now is the time.
No comment.
No question.
Okay, since there are no questions from the board, we will close out the board commenting period, and we will now open up for public commenting period. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak on the application at 33 Porter Street, you now have the floor.
Can you
Mr.
hear?
Cavallo, you're on. Yes, I can hear you.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Massachusetts. I support the conversion of 33 Porter Street, units 1 and 2. I wish to state publicly that I believe this condominium ordinance causes grave economic harm to the city, and any modifications to make the ordinance even stricter than it already is a detriment to the city.
Thank you for that. If there are no other public comment or questions, we will now look to close the public commenting period, and we will now look to vote on the final conversion permits for 33 Porter Streets, units 1 and unit 2.
So this is a vote for the final conversion permits for units 1 and 2 at 33 Porter Street. Chair Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zaslav,
Yes.
Board Member Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Chambers. Board Member Champion,
Yes.
the motion passes.
Okay, great, thank you. So the next application up for tonight is that of 9 Pearl Street Place. It's the application of Song and Chang seeking a final conversion permits for unit number 1 at 9 Pearl Street Place. If there's a representative that wants to speak on this application, you now have the floor.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, can you hear me? So,
Yes.
yeah, okay, my name is Xiaoming Song. So because tenant want to buy the unit, so that's why, I prepare all the document. And also the second floor, they're not ready in the beginning of August, but right now they are ready. And I sent the PNS to you Friday. Did you receive it? For both units.
So I will say this, I know there are some cutoff deadlines for our meetings. So I'm not sure what the cutoff would have been, Cecilia, but I would presume that Friday might have been cutting it pretty close for us to be able to review that unit at this meeting. So unfortunately, if city staff, if it didn't make it on the agenda tonight, because it doesn't look like it did, I'm assuming that city staff did not receive that in time or it was after our cutoff. But you're definitely welcome to reach out to city staff after the meeting for that unit, and maybe we can get it on the agenda for our next month.
Yeah, next month, I'm out of town. I'm not sure I can attend this meeting,
Well, it would be for a final conversion permit, correct? Because you said the
Yes,
purchase and sale, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we need to have an attendee. And city staff, correct me before I say that. Do we need to have a representative? I don't think it's necessary to have a representative.
Okay.
It is nice to have one, but you could work with city staff on that. If you're going to
Okay.
be out of town, I don't see why we still couldn't see it if all the information is in place and it gets on the
Okay.
agenda.
Okay, sure, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But okay, but for tonight, we're still going to look at the unit number 1. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Forgive me, Chairman Paul. I see that Shellman sent in purchase and sale agreement that was signed for unit 2 on Friday. I don't know if that will change anything here or.
No, I don't think it changes anything. I can't remember right off the top, but I think there is somewhere, we had adjusted some of our cutoff times, back a few months ago, as Lisa shakes, yes. I don't remember the time frame, but I think it was early spring, if I
Yeah, because
remember, Marina.
yeah, because
Yeah,
I did
we changed some
myself.
of the
I don't know
cutoffs. So,
I don't know the timeline. So
yes,
when yeah,
exactly.
Marina
So I
sent
could tell
me, yeah,
you,
I got it. I
yeah,
did
so
very quickly, have an attorney and a floor plan, all these things. Yeah, it's like yeah, and the tenant
yeah, so
they want
unfortunately,
to buy
yeah,
as soon as possible because paying the rent. Yeah, they think yeah. So yeah, if you
okay.
can approve, that's good for both. If not, I can say let them to wait. But since for the locking the rate, they may, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I just follow
Um,
whatever, yeah, you agree, yeah.
yeah, so unfortunately, Cecilia, I would say that I think even though it was received, I still think it was past the cutoff. As I mentioned, I don't remember the dates at off the top of my head, but I do remember Marina did some restructuring of application deadlines and different things like that. So I can tell you a Friday before a meeting probably it still would have been too late for it to make it for this agenda. But maybe working offline, to get it on the agenda for next month, and then working out if the representative needs to be there or not. They could talk
Yeah,
about that, because I don't
yeah,
think that's
because
necessary.
September, end of September and beginning of October, I'm out of country.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So Cecilia will work with you. You could work with city staff offline to talk about that application for next month. Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry, it just came that, yes, unfortunately, yeah, August, yes, it was past the deadline. It looks like it was past the deadline to have items in for this particular meeting. So, okay, so moving on. So we'll have you can work with city staff to look at the other unit for next month's meeting. But moving forward for unit 1, was there anything you wanted to discuss on unit 1? If not, we can continue to move forward on this application.
Sure, yeah, just continue.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we will now open up for board commenting. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments for the representative of 9 Pearl Street Place, now is the time to ask the questions.
For the chair, no questions for the applicant.
There's no questions for me.
No question.
No questions.
Oh, great. I just want to say that I'm very happy to know that the tenant is going to be purchasing. I'm glad when folks can stay in the city of Somerville. So I'm happy to know that. Okay, so we will now close the board commenting period, and we will now open up for public commenting period. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak or has any wants to voice anything on the application at 9 Pearl Street Place, now is the time.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I support the condominium conversion of 9 Pearl Street Place, unit number 1, as I support all condominium conversions. And I want to state publicly that I'm diametrically opposed to the condominium ordinance, as I believe it causes grave economic harm to the city of Somerville.
Mr. Cavallo. If there's no other public comment, we will look to close the public commenting period, and we will now look to vote on the final conversion permit for unit 1 at 9 Pearl Street Place.
This is a vote for final conversion permit for unit 1 at 9 Pearl Street Place. Chairman Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zappa,
Yes.
Board Member Kate Byrne,
I share Chairman Paul's enthusiasm whenever a tenant can purchase, so yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Champion,
Yes.
the motion passes.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next application tonight. That is the application of 9-11 Upland Park. They're seeking a final conversion permits for units 1 and unit 2. Is there a representative that wants to speak on this application? You now have the floor.
Okay, great. Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, super. Good evening, board, and thank you for your effort and the work you put into this process. My name is Nima Bekami, representing 9-11 Upland Park. We're seeking final permit for unit 1 and 2. Have submitted the master deed as well as the architectural condition report. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Great, thank
All right,
you.
so we'll open up for the. Ooh, there's some back stuff's going on there. It was echoing. All right, so we'll now open up for the board commenting period. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments on the application at 9-11 Upland Park.
Share, no comment.
Share no comment.
I was confused about whether, I was confused about the owner occupant affidavit, and I wasn't sure that I saw what was the second back one. So if somebody could help me look at that.
From the original application.
So I think I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, Chair Paul, Nima to mute.
I saw the original owner occupant affidavit, but there was some question about the owner occupant before that, I believe, and so I was trying to figure that out. Yeah, so I just need some help figuring out whether or not that all got in place.
Oh, okay, so you're asking about from when we issued the preliminary permits last June, you're asking about that. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, this is a new meeting for all of us. We have a new city staff here. I don't know if Cecilia, we'd have to go back and look at that. Is that not in the, do you have access to the share folder? So it should be in there, but you'd have to go back to June of 2022. Because that's when it looks like the preliminary permits were issued. So that's where all the information would be back in our June of 2022 meeting file. So if you want to take a moment to try to find that in that share drive.
You do have that folder open. Are you saying that we should go in the share drive to get that?
Well, I was making sure that Kate had access to that, board member Brent had access to it so that they could review it. On their own. Yes, but I will say this, you know, I feel like we do have some new board members, and this is one of the things, you know, unfortunately we are in the final permit phase right now. So unfortunately, you know, you're definitely welcome to look at that information, but the vote tonight unfortunately is based on the final. I think the information that you want to go back and review unfortunately just doesn't apply to the final piece. But I think
that's the clarification I was looking for. So thank you on that. That's what I was looking for, was whether or not that should be something that we look at. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were looking to review it.
No. It was just a clarification question about, you know, did we need to look back at that?
Great. Was there any other board comment, questions? Anybody see anything else? I think I didn't see anything else. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. We will now look to close the board commenting period, and we will now move to the public commenting period. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak solely on the application at 9-11 Upland Park, you now have the floor.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I fully support the condominium conversion of 9-11 Upland Park, Units 1 and 2, as I do all condominium conversions. I wish to state publicly that I believe the condominium ordinance in the city of Somerville is causing grave economic harm to the city.
Thank you, Mr. Cavallo. If there's no one else for public comments, we will look to close the public commenting period. And we will now move to vote on the final conversion permits for units number 1 and unit number 2 at 9-11 Upland Park.
Okay, this is a vote for the final conversion permits for units 1 and 2 at 9-11 Upland Park. Chairperson Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wolflock,
Yes.
Board Member Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Champion.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the next application tonight. That is that of 55 Montrose Street. The application of Boss Smiles 1 LLC seeking a final conversion permits for unit number 1 and unit number 2. If there's a representative in the audience that can speak on this application. You just need to unmute yourself, Mr. McGinn.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Cameron McGinn. I'm the representative for Gaurav Parajuli, the manager of BOS Smiles 1 LLC. We are seeking a final conversion permit for 55 Montrose Unit 1 and 2. We have submitted the final permit meeting request form, as well as an engineer's report and a master deed. Thank you for your consideration.
Great, thank you for that. All right, we will now look to open up the board commenting. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments on the application at 55 Montrose Street.
The chair, no comments or questions for the applicant.
No comment.
Okay, all right, we will now look to close the board commenting period, and we will now open up for public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak solely on the application at 55 Montrose Street, you now have the floor.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I support the conversion of 55 Montrose Streets, units number 1 and 2. And I wish to state publicly again that I am diametrically opposed to the ordinance, which I believe is causing grave economic harm to the city of Somerville. And I don't think anybody cares.
Thank you for that. If there's no other public comment, we'll now close the public comments, and we will now move to vote on the final conversion permits for units number 1 and unit number 2 at 55 Montrose Street.
Okay, this is the vote for final conversion permit for units 1 and 2 at 55 Montrose Street. Chairperson Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zaslav,
Yes.
Board Member Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Champion,
Yes.
the motion is passed.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next application, and that is 37 Elmwood Street, the application of SSD 37 Elmwood LLC, seeking a final conversion permits for unit number 1 and unit number 2. If there's a representative that wants to speak on this application.
No one is raising their hand. Oh, hold on.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Mark Sheen of Adam Dash and Associates, attorney for SSD 37 Elmwood LLC. My client is seeking a final conversion permit for units 1 and 2 of this multifamily residence. My client has submitted the remaining 2 items required by the board, which were a master deed and property condition report. So now the board has a complete application. Thank you for your time.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, Mr. Sheehan. All right, we'll now look to open up the board commenting period. If there's any board members that have any questions and comments for the application.
Through the chair, no questions or comments for the applicant. They seem to have met all the contingencies necessary.
No comments.
No comment.
No comments.
Okay, great. All right, since there's no further board comment, we'll now look to close the board comments and move to open up public comments. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak solely to the application of 37 Elmwood Street, you now have the floor.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I fully support the condominium conversion of 37 Elmwood Street, units 1 and 2, as I support all condominium conversions. And I've already publicly stated my position about the condominium ordinance, so I don't need to repeat it.
Thank you for that. All right, we'll move in. We will be closing the public commenting period, and we will now move to vote on the final conversion permits for unit 1 and unit 2 at 37 Elmwood Street.
Okay. This is to vote on the final conversion permits for units 1 and 2 at 37 Elmwood Street. Chairperson Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zappa,
Yes.
Board Member Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Champion.
Yes.
Great. Thank you for that. Okay, moving on to the next application, that is 37-39 Bond Street. The application of Andrew Bennett and Arlene Weiner seeking a final conversion permit for unit 37. If there's a representative in the audience that wants to speak on this application. Mr. Sheehan, is this you again?
Yes, I have the next 3. Mark Sheen of Adam Dash and Associates, attorney for Andrew Bennett and Arlen Weiner of 3739 Bond Street. My client is seeking a final conversion permit for unit 37, which is currently owner occupied. My clients have submitted the remaining 2 items required by the board, which were a master deed and property condition report. So now the board has a complete application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheehan, for that. All right, we'll now look to open up board comment. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments on the application, now is the time.
One or two questions through the chair.
Okay, if there's no board comments and questions, we'll look to close the board commenting period and we'll now open up for public commenting period. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak solely on the application of 37-39 Bond Street, you now have the floor.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I fully support the conversion of 37-39 Bond Street, unit number 37, as I support all condominium conversions. And as I have stated, I believe the condominium ordinance in the city of Somerville is causing grave economic harm to the city.
Thank you for that. All right, we'll now move to close the public commenting period, and we will now move to vote on the final conversion permit for unit 37 at 37-39 Bond Street.
Okay, this is a vote for a final conversion permit for unit 37, 37-39 Bond Street. Chairperson Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zadlock,
Yes.
Board Member Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Champion.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Thank you. All right, on to the last application for this section for tonight. That is 55 Derby Street, the application of 55 Derby Street LLC. They're seeking a final conversion permits for unit number 1 and unit number 2. If there's a representative that wants to speak on it, oh, Mrs. Sheehan, I think you said it was you.
Yeah. Mark Sheehan of Adam Dash and Associates, attorney for 55 Derby Street LLC. My client is seeking a final conversion permit for units 1 and 2 of this multifamily residence. The property was owner occupied prior to my client purchasing it, and the property has remained vacant since the closing date. We have submitted the complete application, paid final water bill, certificate of good standing, affidavit from the prior owner, proof of residential exemption, property condition report, master deed, and a bank check payable to the city of Somerville for $1,200. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. We'll now move to open up board comments. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments for the applicant, the application.
Through the chair, no comments or questions. All conditions have been met.
Okay, there are no other. Okay, no other board comments and questions. And we will look to close the board commenting period, and we'll now open up the public commenting period. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak directly on the application of 55 Derby Street, you now have the floor.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I fully support the condominium conversion of 55 Derby Streets, Unit 1 and 2, and wish to state publicly that I believe the condominium ordinance is causing grave economic harm to the city of Somerville.
Great, thank you. We'll now look to close the public commenting period, and we will now look to vote for the final conversion permits of units 1 and unit 2 at 55 Derby Street.
Okay, this is a vote for final conversion permits for units 1 and 2 at 55 Derby Street. Chairperson Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zadlock,
Yes.
Board Member Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Champion.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Great, thank you. Okay, on to our next agenda item for tonight, that of preliminary condominium conversion permits. The first application of tonight is that of 37 Bank Street. It's the application of Colleen Gillard and William Wells seeking a preliminary rental conversion permits for unit number 1 and unit number 2. Oh, that's you again, Mr. Sheehan. You're unmuted.
Thank you. Mark Sheen of Adam Dash and Associates, attorney for Colleen Gillard and William Wells of 37 Bank Street. My clients are seeking a preliminary rental conversion permit for units 1 and 2 of this multifamily residence. The property is currently vacant. We have submitted the complete application, paid final water bill, certificate of good standing, and a bank check payable to the city of Somerville for $1,200. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you for that. All right, we will now look to open up the board commenting period. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments on this application, now is the time. And I have a question. I'll start off. And this could just be more of a preliminary. I was looking for the tenant information. Are there tenants were there tenants in this property? Is there tenants in this property? I wasn't able to kind of gather from the information that was there. There was X's through the tenant application packet.
Yes, can you hear me right now? Yeah,
Yes.
so when we applied, there were no tenants in the property. Property is currently vacant. And I filled out the tenant information for the prior tenants that were in there. They vacated. Unit 1 was in July and unit 2 was in April.
Was that of 20, that was just of 2023, like July of last month and April of this year?
Yes, that's correct.
I don't know if any other board member, but I didn't see the other tenant. You said you filled out for the other tenants, and that's what I didn't see that. And I see board member Brian, I see you kind of pointing, so if you could jump in if you had a question on that too.
No, I didn't see it either, so I was curious about the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't see the prior tenanted information. Cecilia, I don't know if you could kind of help us with this and with the, this is for the 37 Bank Street with the information that was shared with us on the application. We seem to have all saw the X's through the tenant packet, but the representative is mentioning that they filled out the prior tenant information. I didn't see it. I don't know if any other board members seen it or if somebody, because I didn't see any prior tenant information.
I did not prepare this application. This was processed by Morena. She did note tenants, but she didn't go into much detail, so it's difficult to determine.
Thank you for that.
Yep, through the chair, I was just looking on the file there, and it looks like they do provide the 37 Bank Street tenants is how it's labeled in the folder. I believe so.
Well, I guess for me, I just want to make sure we have that information because based on the ordinance, they were supposed to be notified. And I also didn't see that. So I just kind of like, I don't know if, all this could be a timely thing. I don't know.
I don't necessarily know if they've been notified. They are noted and their address is provided in the application. I don't see anything showing certified mail being received by them that they were notified. Can the attorney speak to that?
Yes, I did send that in a separate email than was with the application itself. I can send a follow-up email after this hearing as well. and I can provide that information. They were visiting academics, so the Unit 1, they're back in Jerusalem, and the Unit 2 occupant, they are out of state as well, but I can provide you with that information.
I think Unit 2 is Philadelphia, so should be
Yep.
able to reach them.
Yeah, I mean, this was a curious one for me because it looks like it was rented to people that you knew were gonna go away. And that and that I think that the tenants still need, from what my reading of the ordinance, those tenants still need to be notified, and they need to be offered moving expenses and all of that, that you can't, just because they came in for a year as an academic doesn't mean that they're disqualified, from my reading of the ordinance. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but somebody could change that for me.
I agree with that statement. At the very least, we need something from them signing off that says they defer the relocation payment, or
Yeah.
that they're accepting it, one of the two.
Yeah, if I could speak to that. So we applied while this property was vacant, and there were no tenants when we submitted the application. So, you know, based on my reading of the ordinance, they wouldn't be entitled to any of the tenant protections because they weren't tenants at the time.
Well, actually, that's incorrect.
Right.
The new owner of the property is responsible for contacting any tenants within the last 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's correct. And we did contact them, but they were not current tenants at the time of this application. The property was vacant.
No, you're not.
I understand what you're saying, but you're still responsible for getting something in writing from them that's certified that
That's right.
defers the relocation payment, or you exhaust all opportunities to reach them. And it doesn't feel like that's been followed in this situation. So, I mean, from my standpoint, I'm not comfortable voting on this application tonight on a conditional level or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna also agree on the same, only because I just want to know they were notified. I don't see anything that even says that they were notified. Thank you, Vice Chair, for finding just even the addresses, because I was having a hard time finding even their names and addresses. So I do agree. I also don't feel comfortable with this. And then also to the representative, looking at the other side, this could be a timely thing. As you've seen, we are, there's some movement happening with city staff right now. So I would say that you've mentioned sending something in a separate email. It could have gotten to Marina. Unfortunately, it just probably didn't move forward. So I would definitely say that this also could be a timely thing for missing some of those pieces. But I also would have to agree with my fellow board members on voting on this one tonight. And it looks, Board Member Simeon, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, but I think that one is a very important piece. We cannot bypass that. And I agree with you completely, everybody else. I think I'm not feel comfortable to vote on something like that without the real paper and sign, at least by those people previously. Because if I understand, it's from July and say so close. It's not even a year. That means we really need that piece. Thank you.
Board Member Sam, Vice Chair.
Yeah, if I could just, through the chair, thank you. I think maybe if I could recommend, maybe we table this application tonight, allow the applicant 30 days to try to contact the former tenants, and adhere to the ordinance in which the equitable ways that they need to be contacted and sign off if they are going to defer the relocation permit. And, if they have it within 30 days, they can't, submit that to the city staff, come back before the board, we'll review it. If not, then they will need to continue their search until it's deemed appropriate.
Yes, I do agree, to table this also, for the relocation, but also just for the notification, just so we can see something being sent certified on that also. That would be, what I'd also be looking for on top of the relocation is the certified pieces, of mail to these individuals. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna do a vote to table this application until the meeting on next month, or vice chair, sorry.
If I could just add one more thing, thank you, Chair, Paul. If we could condition that they try to notify the tenants via certified mail and email. Because if they are traveling, they may not be at a residence, for weeks at a time to receive mail, so they're more apt to respond to an email.
So
Great, thank you for that.
did you want me to take a vote? To table it?
Yeah, so, yeah, did you get all that, Cecilia? Sorry, I was writing it down. So it looks like we're gonna look to table this till the next meeting. But even with the table, we're also looking for some conditions of the courtesy permit even further on the certified mail and email of the prior tenants.
Within 30 days. That's what I have, within 30 days. We'll grant the applicant 30 days to contact the tenant, the previous tenant.
Through the chair, if I may.
You can clarify. Yes, I was gonna ask you to. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 30 days would be advantageous for the attorney and his applicant, so it's in their best interest to do it within 30 days. I mean, I don't think it's necessary that we need to put time restrictions. If they're not able to contact them, then the city should not accept the application and put it before the board next month.
Thank you for the clarification, Vice Chair. Okay, yes, so now we will look to do that vote, Cecilia. Thank you.
So this is a vote to table the preliminary permit for 37 Bank Street, units 1 and 2, to next month, September 2023, to the next condo review board meeting. Chairperson Paul,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zaslav,
Yes.
Board Member Byrne,
Yes.
Board Member Simeon,
Yes.
Board Member Champion.
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Great, thank you all. Okay, for the next application up tonight in this section is that of 16 Woodbine Street, the application of 16 Woodbine LLC. They're seeking a preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit number 1 and a courtesy permit for unit 2. Is there a representative that's here to speak on this application?
If so, please raise your hand.
I have the representative as a, yeah, okay, Mrs. May, yeah, okay. Just need to unmute yourself.
Mr. Spang, you're unmuted. Mr. Spang? You're unmuted.
You've muted yourself again, Mr. Spang, unmute and then we can hear you.
Mr. Spang, you're unmuted. You should be able to talk. Maybe he can't hear us.
All right, well, we do have, okay, we can, Mr. Spain, do you want to take a moment to gather your audio? Or maybe you can, yeah, you can, we'll give you a second to get your audio. And then when you're ready to go, if you could just put it in the chat and we'll come back to this application. Okay. All right, so while we give that representative a second, we'll move on to the application of 85 Oxford Street. It's Oxford Road LLC. They're seeking a preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit number 1 and a courtesy permit for unit number 2. Is there a representative here to speak on this application? They could have an attorney mayor who I have listed as a representative.
You guys hear me now?
Yes.
I 1,000 apologies.
It's okay.
Okay, Mr. Speck, hold on 1 second, because we had moved on from your application, so give me 1 second.
They're both my applications.
Oh, they are both. Okay, great.
Yes.
So we're on 85 Oxford. So do you mind just speaking on that quickly, and then we'll go back to Woodbine?
I can do that, and 1,000 apologies. I was dialed in as well. I was trying not to mess it up, so I'm very, very sorry. I'm glad you can hear me now. Yes, so 85 Oxford. My name's Matthew Spang. I am representing the 85 Oxford Road LLC. They are seeking 1 preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit 1 at 85 Oxford Street and 1 courtesy permit for unit 2 at the same address. The property was an existing single-family house that was owner occupied prior to the purchase. And the LLC intends to add a second unit as well. We have completed the application, a check to the city for $600, provided a deed, a copy of the tax bill evidencing the residential exemption, also provided an affidavit from the seller, paid final water bill, certificate of good standing, as well as a building permit for the second unit.
Great, thank you for that, Mrs. Spang. All right, we'll now look to open up the board comments. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments on the application for 85 Oxford Road.
Through the chair, no comments or questions.
No comment.
Okay, if we don't have, sorry, board members, bye. Okay, sorry, I thought you raised your hand. All right, so if we don't have any board comments, we'll look to close the board commenting period, and we'll now open up for the public commenting period. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak solely on the application of 85 Oxford Street, you now have the floor.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I fully support the conversion of 85 Oxford Streets units 1 and 2.
Thank you for that. All right, we'll now look to close the public commenting period, and we will now look to vote on the preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit number 1 and the courtesy permit for unit number 2 at 85 Oxford Street.
Okay, this is a vote for the preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit 1 and the courtesy permit for unit 2 at 85 Oxford Street. Chairperson Paul?
Yes.
Vice Chair Zaslav?
Yes.
Board Member Byrne?
Yes.
Board Member Sleen?
Yes.
Board Member Champion?
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Great, thank you. Okay, so now we'll go back to the other application, which would be our final application for this evening, that of 16 Woodbine Street, the application of 16 Woodbine LLC. They are seeking a preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit number 1 and a courtesy permit for unit number 2. Representative Spain, I think you said this was your application. You have the floor. Mr. Spain, you're okay, there you go. You're unmuted.
I'm so sorry. Again, my name is Matthew Spang. I'm representing the 16 Woodbine LLC. And as the chair suggested, we are seeking an application for one preliminary non-rental conversion permit, as well as one courtesy permit for a second unit at 16 Woodbine Street. Again, same as the other property. The property was a single-family house that was owner occupied prior to the purchase, and the LLC intends to add a second unit. Again, an application was submitted, a check to the city for $600, a deed, tax certificate evidencing the residential exemption, an affidavit from the seller, a paid final water bill, a certificate of good standing, as well as a building permit for the second unit.
Great, thank you for that. All right, we'll move to board comments. If there's any board members that have any questions or comments for the application at 16 Woodbine Street.
Through the chair, no comments for the applicant.
No comment.
My question was just, there were no tenants in those units?
So I was under the impression it's a single family conversion to a two.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yes,
Spain,
yes, correct. It was a single family home that they're adding a second unit, and
Okay.
prior
Thank
to the
you.
purchase. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, there are no other questions or comments from the board. We'll look to close the board commenting period, and we'll now open up for public commenting period. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak solely on the application at 16 Woodbine Street, you now have the floor.
Ron Cavallo, 70 Victoria Street, Somerville, Mass. I fully support the conversion of 16 Woodbine Street, units 1 and 2. And everybody knows how I feel about the condominium ordinance in the city of Somerville. I think it's a disgrace.
Okay, if there's no other public comments, we'll now look to close the public commenting period, and we will now look to vote on the preliminary non-rental conversion permits for unit number 1, the courtesy permit for unit number 2 at 16 Woodbine.
This is a vote for a preliminary non-rental conversion permit for unit 1 at 16 Street and a courtesy permit for unit 2 at 16 Woodbine Street. Chairperson Paul?
Yes.
Vice Chair Zaslaw?
Yes.
Board Member Byrne? Board Member Simeon?
Yes.
Board Member Champion?
Yes.
The motion is passed.
Great, thank you all, and that is the conclusion of our meeting this evening. I call this meeting adjourned. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Great, meeting adjourned. Thank you all so much for your patience. Thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you to the
Lisa.
city staff for bearing with us tonight, helping us out. Thank you.
Likewise,
Yes,
thank you,
wow.
Okay.
everyone. Public.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Have a good night.
Thank
Night.
you. Bye.
Yeah.